I was standing in my living room, suitcase half open, clothes scattered like bright confetti across the bed. After months of stress and routines that felt like endless looping days, I was finally taking a break. A peaceful weekend away. Just me, my sketchbook, and the quiet hum of nature. No responsibilities, no last-minute demands, no interruptions. So when my phone rang and I saw Zara's name, I answered with a smile, thinking it would be a casual check-in between sisters. It was not. Her voice burst through the line like a storm. "Layla, listen. I'm going to Rita's destination wedding in Murray tomorrow. I need you to watch the kids. No greeting. No request, just authority, as if my life existed to rotate around hers." I paused, trying not to let the annoyance slip into my tone. "Zara, you know, I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I told you weeks ago." She scoffed. "So what? Move it to next weekend. The kids like you anyway. They'll keep you company." That was always Zara, assuming my plans were flexible while hers were carved in gold. Growing up, she was the queen of the house, the favorite child, the loud voice, the shining star. I learned early to dim myself around her, to give way, to swallow my needs, but adulthood changes things. I finally had my own boundaries, and this time I wasn't going to bend. "No, Zara," I said firmly. "I need this weekend. I'm tired." A long silence stretched across the call like a crack forming between us. Then she exhaled sharply, full of accusation. "You're unbelievable, Layla. You have all this free time and still refuse to help. You're being selfish again." My heart stung, even though her guilt trips were familiar weapons. I closed my eyes and inhaled slowly, trying to keep steady. "It's not selfish to prioritize my own life," I replied quietly. "You can't just drop things on me because it's convenient for you." She didn't reply, she didn't argue. She just hung up, cleanly, coldly, like slamming a door between us. I stood there, staring at my reflection in the dark TV screen, feeling equal parts hurt and relieved. I thought that was the end of it. She would be angry for a day or two, complain to the family, then move on. We would talk again eventually. I didn't know then that this was only the beginning, that her anger would turn into something reckless, that my no would ignite a betrayal I never imagined, that just hours later, a taxi would stop outside my house and her children would step out alone. My story of sweet revenge didn't start with hate. It started with this phone call. The sound of the taxi door closing echoed like thunder through my chest. Two small silhouettes stood at my gate, Amy, with her stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm, and little Sod clinging to her sleeve like a shadow. Their eyes were wide, unsure, searching for reassurance that I wasn't sure I could give. The driver handed me the receipt and note, then left with a sympathetic shrug, as if he knew something about betrayal that I didn't yet. My fingers trembled as I unfolded the paper. "You said no, but you're still their aunt. I'll pick them up Sunday night." Zara's handwriting, sharp, hurried, unapologetic. My throat tightened with disbelief. She had actually done it. She had put her children in a taxi, alone, and sent them across the city to me. Anger sparked in me like a strike of flint. But when Sod's tiny hand reached up for mine, that anger melted into something heavier, responsibility. I didn't want to punish them for their mother's cruelty. "Come inside," I said softly. They walked in slowly, like guests afraid to overstep. I warmed leftover pasta, set out juice boxes, and watched them eat as if they hadn't tasted food all day. Amy's eyes lifted to mine every few seconds, like she was waiting for me to scold her or send her away. "You're safe here," I told them, though I'd never been less certain about anything in my life. After dinner, I turned on animated movies, but Sod fell asleep halfway through, and Amy's eyelids drooped soon after. I carried him to my bed, my muscles aching with unfamiliar weight, physical and emotional. I tucked them in with spare blankets and sat beside them, listening to soft breathing in a room meant only for one. My retreat weekend slipped further away with each tick of the clock, but it was the night that revealed the cracks beneath Zara's polished life. At 2 a.m., I woke to muffled crying. Amy was curled near the edge of the bed, knees pulled to her chest. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" I whispered. She sniffed, voice trembling. Mama leaves us a lot. She says you hate kids. That's why you never come. The words hit me like ice water. Hate I had never, not once said or done anything to suggest that. Zara had been rewriting my image in their minds just to excuse her absence. I wrapped my arms around Amy gently. I don't hate you. I never have. I wish you knew how much I care. Her small head rested against my shoulder, trusting me in a way that made my heart break and rebuild at the same time. In that moment, I realized something painfully clear. This weekend was never just babysitting. It was the first glimpse into a truth Zara never wanted me, or anyone, to see. Sunday evening crawled in slow and heavy, like a storm gathering before the sky breaks open. The kids were drawing quietly at the dining table, Sod sketching crooked houses, and Amy filling flowers with bold, hopeful colors, when the front door flew open without a knock. Zara marched inside like she owned the air I breathed. Her heels clicked against the floor like a warning. "There you are," she snapped, eyes darting from the children to the living room. "The house is a mess. What did you do all weekend, Layla? Naps and cartoons. Brilliant." Amy flinched at her tone. Sod froze completely, crayon suspended midair. Irritation simmered in my blood, rising fast and hot. She didn't ask if they were fed. She didn't ask if they were safe. She didn't say thank you, just criticism. Just blame. "Good evening, Zara." I forced out calmly, even though my pulse was racing. "You're early. I expected you tonight." She shrugged off her purse and shot me a cold glare. "Yes, well, someone had to come fix whatever routines you ruined. Amy told me you let them stay up late. And you gave them pasta. Pasta, Layla. Do you even know what they're supposed to eat?" "They were hungry," I said quietly, and tired, and scared. Her laugh was sharp. "Oh, stop the drama. They're fine." The space between us crackled with years of swallowed words, buried resentments, second-place childhood moments. I had always been the accommodating one, the helper, the backup plan, the quiet shadow behind her spotlight. She expected me to fold again, but I didn't. "You left them alone in a taxi," I said slowly, voice shaking with a mixture of rage and heartbreak. "They could have gotten lost, hurt, taken anything. You didn't even tell me." Zara rolled her eyes. "They're my kids. I decide what's wrong or right, then act like their mother." I snapped before I could stop myself. Silence, thick, electric. Her eyes widened with disbelief, a queen unaccustomed to defiance. Then her face twisted into something cruel and familiar. "You're done lecturing me. You're jealous. That's what this is. Jealous of my life, my kids, my freedom." Freedom? Was that what she called abandonment? I stepped closer, voice low and steady. "I'm jealous of nothing you have, but I refuse to let you treat your children, or me like props in your world anymore." She grabbed Amy's wrist and hauled her toward the door. "We're leaving. Don't ever expect to see them again. You're cut off." Amy looked back at me, eyes full of confusion and longing as Zara dragged them away. The door slammed, and that was the moment something inside me hardened. I was done being silent, done being used. My breaking point had finally arrived. And what followed wasn't revenge born of hate, but justice born of love. The silence after they left wasn't peaceful, it was loud. It filled every room, every corner, every breath I tried to take. Amy's last look replayed in my head again and again, like a movie scene I couldn't escape. Her eyes weren't angry. They were pleading, and beneath that look was something fragile and aching. A child wanting safety. A child wanting someone to stay. That night, I sat on the edge of my bed, thinking about the taxi note, the weekend, the lies Zara told her children about me. All the years of being pushed aside, dismissed, belittled. This was the final thread snapping. I wasn't going to let this disappear like all the other times she crossed lines. I opened my laptop, not out of impulse but clarity. I wrote everything down, the date, the time, the note she left with her children. I attached a photo of the taxi receipt, messages she had sent, even small voice recordings where Amy mentioned Zara leaving them alone. I didn't want to ruin Zara. I wanted protection for those two innocent souls who had never been given stability. I filed a report. A part of me trembled as I pressed send. Another part finally exhaled. The response came faster than I expected. Social services reached out, Questions were asked not just to me, but to Zara as well, and then, a week later, her husband knocked on my door. I had never seen him look so exhausted, like someone who had been living under filtered illusions, and was now seeing the raw edges beneath. "Layla," he said quietly, "thank you for telling the truth. I didn't know." His voice broke. Zara was asked to attend counseling, undergo parental monitoring, and could no longer leave the children unattended for long periods. She wasn't stripped of motherhood, she was forced to face it. The facade of effortless freedom she built cracked until reality finally seeped through. Weeks passed, then months. One afternoon, there was a gentle knock. When I opened the door, Amy and Saad stood holding a drawing, 3 figures holding hands. One of them was me. "Auntie Layla," Amy whispered, voice steadier than I'd ever heard it. "Can we stay for the weekend?" My heart unfolded like new petals in spring. I nodded, eyes burning. From then on, they visited often, not because Zara forced it, but because they wanted love that didn't vanish with convenience. We painted, baked cookies, laughed until midnight. They grew around me like seedlings finally given sunlight. Zara never apologized, not truly, but she changed slowly, uneasily. Maybe she resented me for it. Maybe she respected me silently. It didn't matter, because my revenge wasn't destruction. It was healing. It was becoming the person they could run to, while she was forced to become the person they needed. The sweetest revenge was never vengeance. It was growth. It was peace. It was love that lasted,